Grammar Lesson 4 and 5, prefixes and suffixes. Yes, we are going to be doing 2 lessons at once today, and the reason for that is these lessons are very, very connected and very, very similar. So let's talk about prefixes and suffixes. So a prefix is just the name for something that you would add before a word, and a prefix will change the meaning of the word. A suffix, very, very similar. It's something that you add not at the beginning of the word, but you add it at the end. Okay, so a prefix comes before, a suffix comes at the end. And what these little groups of letters do is they actually add to the meaning or change the meaning of the word. Now, what we have here is the word unreadable. The word unreadable has both a prefix and a suffix. So what we have in the middle is called either the root word or the base word. Your grammar books call it the base word. So that means the word that you are starting with. Okay, so the word read. All right. Now, what we can do is we can add a prefix to the beginning of read. And in this case, we've added the prefix un. Now, un has the meaning of not, okay? So it's taken the word read and it's made it sort of negative, that you could not read something, okay? And then this word actually also has a prefix and a suffix because it has the suffix able, so we now have unreadable. And the suffix able means can be done. So what we've done is we've taken a prefix and suffix, added it to a base word, and made a new word that's connected, but the meaning is slightly different. So now instead of just read, we have something that's unreadable. So it's saying that it's something that you're not able to read because we have the able, think about that it can be done, but over here we have the negative prefix of not. Okay, now you're not necessarily going to be adding a prefix and a suffix to every word. In fact, in most cases, you're just adding one or the other. So let's just look at one or the other. So a prefix is added to the beginning of a base word and it changes the meaning of the word. So prefix beginning. Okay, so let's look at a couple examples. We'll use the example that's in your book to begin with. For example, the prefix un that we just looked at means not. And if you add that to a base word done, it becomes the word undone, okay? Which is a word that means not done. Okay, so we've taken the word done, we've added a prefix, the prefix means not, so now the word means not done. Okay, and if you look, I gave you another example here. We take the prefix im, we add it to the word possible, and the word becomes impossible. Now, if you look up here, this is in your books as well, there are some different prefixes with the meanings listed. And if you look, the prefix im means not. So as soon as we add that im onto our word possible, now our word means not possible. All right, so this box at the top of your page of lesson 4 is going to be very, very useful for you today because it has those prefixes listed. It'd be a good idea to maybe take a highlighter and highlight or put a box around and a star beside like I just did so that you can easily find that back because it's going to be very useful to you. Now, a suffix works in almost the same way, but it's now something not that you add to the beginning, it's something that you add to the end. So a suffix added to the end of a base word changes the meaning. So a couple examples again. So the suffix spelled F-U-L or full, it means full of. You add that to a base word joy, and your word becomes joyful, and it means full of joy. And once again, you have a section right here in your book that shows you suffixes and shows you the meanings of those suffixes. Okay, so take another example here again. If we take the word end, that's the base word or the root word, we add less, it becomes the word endless, and our suffix less, let's see if I can circle it here, yep. Our suffix less means without or that does not. In this case, it would mean without, so less means without. So if we add it to our end, it means without end. Okay, so these boxes at the top are going to be very useful for your lesson today because it's going to ask you to do things like add prefixes and suffixes and then tell what the meaning of the word is now that you have added on either a prefix or a suffix. So it's going to be asking you to write down the meaning. All right, a couple of notes. If you're not sure which prefix or suffix to use, please double check in a dictionary. I'm going to post a link to an online dictionary again. And the reason I would like you to double check if you're unsure is because you can't add every prefix and every suffix to every word. Okay, so for example, end full is not an English word. We can't add the suffix full onto the word end. It just doesn't exist. However, you can add the suffix less to end. End less is a word. Okay, so if you're not sure, just do a little bit of double checking. If it doesn't sound right or you can't figure out which one it is, double check it in a dictionary to make sure that it actually is a word, and then you should come up with the correct prefix or suffix more often. All right, so that's it. You may complete your exercises for lesson 4 and 5.